and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. This, in particular, this video, one thing's leading to another. It starts with this book. This is an amazing book. I mean, the writing is just fantastic, in my opinion. That is Margot Lee Shetterly, and she interviews and it's quite a book, and it's eye-opening to show the struggles and the accomplishments of the part that was played by black women. And so I had never heard about there being a film, had never heard about the book. I just saw the cover of it like this and was struck by it. It said, "The American Dream and the Untold Story of the Black Women Mathematicians Who Helped Win the Space Race." And that was before I maybe several months back, before I even thought of doing anything on math and space. And I said, this looks like an interesting book. So I read it. I admired the accomplishments. I squinched when I read about the struggles and the whole issues that these women had to contend against. Later, when I realized I was going to do this, I thought, boys, this is going to be great. And I found that Margot Lee Shetterly had written a book called Hidden Figures that was a young reader's edition. So she transformed this and rewrote it and reframed it so that young women, young men, black women and black men, and white women and white men can read in a school situation about the obstacles that had to be overcome and the amazing work they did. So that could be the video right there. But one thing leads to another, and I got thinking about the whole cards being stacked against you, and astronomy. And that reminded me of the drinking gourd. There was an old song called The Drinking Gourd. I'm not going to try to sing it for you, but the words for it are in the start of this book. And the drinking gourd is the Big Dipper. And 2 stars at the end of the dipper part of not the handle, but the dipper part, these 2 stars will point to the North Star. And they could be used as a help you navigate and stay on course, especially when you were traveling at night, being the safest time. Some difficulties if you're going through woods to maybe catch it, but you would get a position where you could see it, and you could see I'm heading the right way. And while just waves of thinking about there's one pointed the artwork in here by Fred Brenner, Brenner, really I liked a lot, and the book is by F.N. Monjoy, Monjo. But they speak about the Underground Railway in it, of course, and but there's this scene where the boy is talking with his dad, and he's in his bedroom. He's in bed. He's got one of those old quilts, and I thought about quilts. Quilts were a group activity. People would get together. They'd have the quilting table set up, and I've seen these tables in the Maritimes, and so people would get together and they'd work together. They'd talk about things. They'd share maybe and bring in something to have an eating break, and it was a community undertaking. So his dad is talking to Tommy, and they had a fireplace in the room to heat the room. There's the tongs for taking but above the fireplace was a picture frame, and in the picture frame was something called cross stitch, an exercise in sewing that often young girls did. They'd take some quote and they'd put the quote, and then they'd do a fancy border, and this one said, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." And that's a phrase that I certainly heard growing up, and I don't understand why that's hard for people to do. Anyway, beside this book were two other thin little books when I went looking for it. And I thought, hey, look at this. I'm going to be talking about space. And here's a young woman who was the first black woman to go to outer space. And in this book, there was a woman as well who was an inventor. As I looked through it, this man stood out to me, though. I know it's supposed to be about women, but this man as an inventor, you can find, I'll give you their names. This is Granville, without a D, Granville T. Woods, the greatest electrician in the world, born 1856, before the Civil War, and died in 1910. And he left school when he was 10 years old and worked in a machine shop. Same situation. You don't have anything given to you on a platter. You've got to work for things. And he had many different jobs. He was a fireman with a railway company in Missouri. It was his job to shovel coal into the firebox on the train. He worked in a steel mill in Springfield, Ohio. In New York City, Granville found a job in a machine shop. He went to school at night to learn about electricity. So you had to, really strive. And He worked when he was 22 on a British steamship called Ironsides. For 2 years, he visited many parts of the world. Then he returned to the United States and settled in Cincinnati, Ohio. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you, he kept working. In 1885, he invented a wonderful new thing. With Granville's new invention, a person could send a message by speaking near telegraph keys. The person on the other end would hear the message just like from a telephone. The American Bell Telephone Company, Alexander Graham Bell's, bought the patent from Granville. Well, other kinds of inventions. One of his most important inventions was railway telegraphy. Engineers and conductors on moving trains used it to talk to one another. Station operators could also talk to operators on the moving trains. They could tell each other if there was a problem on the train. They could stop accidents from happening. In 1888, Granville invented an overhead electric system to run trains. A pole from the train was attached to the electric line running overhead. The electric line gave the power to make the trains go. Many cities replaced the old steam engine trains with trains operated by Granville's new system. Well, it was going to be cleaner, for one thing. Another of Granville's important inventions was a safety device called the third rail. The third rail runs alongside the two tracks on which a train runs. The third rail provides the power to make the train go. The third rail is still used today to help run subway trains in New York City and many other cities. Well, by 1890, he'd received 22 patents for inventions, and but he'd had difficulties during his career. He went to court twice to protect his right to the railway telegraph system he invented. Thomas Edison had been working on a similar system. The Edison Company said Edison had invented the railway telegraph system first. Granville proved he was the original inventor, but he'd spent almost all his money on it. Thomas Edison offered Granville a job with his company, but Granville didn't want to accept. He wanted to be his own boss. And many of his patents were sold to large companies like General Electric, Westinghouse, American Bell Telephone. When he died in 1910, in 1969, a school in Brooklyn, New York was named for him. And I just thought, whoa. Now, the reason I wanted to share that is because the next video I want to start with sharing an inventor, a woman inventor who runs also into legal problems about who invented what she invented. And the brave explorers, this woman I didn't know about, but she is amazing. It says here, when she was in grade school, she dreamed about being an astronaut traveling through space. She was born in Decatur, Georgia. Her family moved to Chicago when she was very young. Her parents told her to study hard and learn as much as she could. She may love to learn. She spent many hours in the library reading books about science and science fiction as well. She grew up in the 1960s and she decides she wants to explore in space, and nothing. So when she was 16, she graduated from high school. I'm thinking, 16? Ooh. Her grades were very good. Stanford University gave her a scholarship, and she went there. Now, I've heard that Stanford's called the Harvard of the West Coast. She wanted to be a doctor, so she went to medical school. Later, May joined the Peace Corps to help needy people in other countries. She went to Sierra Leone and Liberia in West Africa. She used what she'd learned in medical school to help the people there. But she still dreamed of being an astronaut, and the things she had to learn and master, and she'd applied for a position with them, and then the Challenger, the spaceship, the Challenger exploded, and they 7 astronauts were killed, and she stopped, and NASA stopped taking new astronauts. But she was not scared. She works for health plans in California and attending graduate engineering classes in Los Angeles. And then she gets notification that she has been selected. And all the things that she's a study of mathematics, earth resources, meteorology, guidance and navigation, astronomy, physics, and computers. All the things that she had to know and be competent in. Now I've got one other book here, and maybe I should have shown it to you earlier, because this starts about struggles, like the struggles that people had that were shown in the books that Margot Shetterly wrote. This is a book, and I just came across it. It's a children's picture book by Caroline Boston Weatherford, and illustrated. This one is illustrated by Frank Morrison. I say this one because there were 3 books that were available in the public library that I got, and the other 2 are dealing with one a man and the other of an incident that happened. And how do you spell unfair by, not by, it's Magnolia Cox and the National Spelling Bee. I didn't even know there was a National Spelling Bee. But the obstacles that were put in her way because she was black. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.